Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Growth Monday. And this is episode number 211. Can you imagine that Rollis has been doing the show for that long? And some of you guys are looking at your screen and you're thinking, this guy that I see is not Rollis. Who is this guy? I am Robert Berry, and I am hosting while Rollis is on vacation. Rollis is a hard-working young man, and he deserves a vacation. So I'm hosting the show, and today we are joined by Sherrine Washington. She is the CEO of Real Talk Sales Consulting. Sherrine, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
You know what? I am better than excellent. That is how I'm doing.
Okay.
So look, Sherrine, our title for today's show is Finding Extraordinary Partners to Fuel Success. So here's what I want to say about that. When we talk about partnerships, there's so many quotes about partnerships, right? A lot of people think that they go into business and they do it alone and that you have to be this brave soldier weathering your business alone. But think about this. A lot of people say, alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much, right?
Yeah.
And then some people say, none of us is as smart as all of us. And then we get down to my favorite, dream work makes the team work, right? So partnerships are extremely, extremely important in business. So tell me, in Real Talk Sales Consulting, what does partnership mean to you?
I'm as an entrepreneur, I'm going to sort of answer your question from the perspective as an entrepreneur. If you had asked me pre-COVID how I would feel about synergy and interacting with other like-minded professionals that are pretty close to what I do, I don't know how open I would be. Okay. I think COVID it taught me a tremendous amount about the importance of not feeling like you got to be worried if someone's going to steal an idea or if someone's out to adopt something that you're doing or take your, and I had to learn that in time. Actually, I've learned it from someone who I believe is my mentor, who I feel is my mentor, Elijah Desmond, who is very influential in the dental industry. He is huge on giving. He is huge on connecting the right people. And if you see an introduction from him, you know you can respond to that person, even if you don't know what it is that they're doing. He's brilliant at that. And so one of my business coaches, Rich Lipfin, says 1 + 1 = 11. Not 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 11. Because if you take two powerful, whether it's individuals, companies, where each of you can operate under your own zone of genius, then miracles occur. And I believe that. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now without it, you know?
Yeah. So let me go back to something that you just said. You said it took literally a pandemic for you to realize the importance of partnerships. What do you think was your major blockage?
Well, I'm from New Jersey. People from New Jersey don't trust easily.
Yep, that's very true. Very true.
I'm a true Jersey girl. I think it's like there's always kind of like there was just a raised eyebrow. You know what I mean? And I was reading your story about how you propelled in writing your book and having a resource for people. And then you wrote another book, I believe, and like, you know, all these things happened to you as a result of the pandemic. I went through the same thing. And I think so it gave me an opportunity to kind of step back and realize it's going to take me a lot longer to get to where I want to get to in life if I don't embrace other people's brilliance. Right.
Oh,
wow. And as a sales trainer and coach for dental practices, I mean, I know now I stay in my lane. There's certain things about the industry I don't want to do. I don't know how to do. So I need to connect with people who can also help serve my dentists, my clients, So they get it all. It doesn't have to come from me.
Wow. So that's important. So you had to overcome some bias that you had growing up in New Jersey, because people in New Jersey have to be tough, because it's a tough place to be, right?
It
And
is.
yeah, and post-pandemic with some mentors, you realize that, wow, partnering with people can actually help me to propel my career. So now
Yes.
let's talk about your business and your career. What is it exactly that you do as the CEO of Real Talk Sales Consulting?
Mhm. So I am a sales trainer and coach, and I help train dentists and their treatment coordinators, anyone in their office who presents treatment. I teach them how to close 5-figure cases on the same day of the consultation, paid in full. And I, in a former life, was a mental health therapist for 10 years. And so I really didn't know when I went to grad school that I would take, excuse me, my clinical career and turn it into sales. So I'm sort of like an accidental salesperson. But what I like about Real Talk Selling, the sales methodology that I've created, is that it really helps to allow people to kind of drop those fears of like, I'm being too pushy, somebody's not going to like me. I mean, the idea is if you're passionate about what you're presenting, if you're passionate about what you're selling, it'll never feel that way. It'll just feel like you're sharing information, and they've got to have that. And you're the person that can serve them so powerfully so they can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing about that is, in life, people often view the word sales as this bad word, but we're always selling something.
Always, every business.
Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even when you're not in business, when you fill out a job application, you're selling yourself to a company. When you go out
Mhm.
on a first date, you're selling yourself to that other person. When you go
Yep.
out on a second date, you're still selling yourself to that
Oh, yeah.
person. So
Our kids, when they want something, I want to go here, I want that. My son is the best salesperson in the world at 11,
oh,
you know?
but is that sales or is that manipulation?
Oh,
So
it's a little bit of both.
right.
It's a little bit of both, you know?
It is a little bit of both, but yeah, we're always selling something, and I think people are often afraid of sales. But now, I told you before we came on here that I actually investigated you a little bit. I stalked you a little bit. I researched you a little bit. But what I didn't realize is that you actually had a background in mental health. Um, so how has that helped you to really talk to people and sell to people? Surely that's had to help you relate to people and be able to bring them what it is that they need in life to sell better.
Yeah. Well, a personal story, which I talk a lot about when I speak, is I'm a bariatric patient. I had weight loss surgery. It'll be 14 years this year.
Ah,
And my journey started with me calling around because I'm a food addict. And it took me calling around to different offices because no one would listen to me. It took me calling around. I think I called over 10 offices before I found someone over 1,000 miles away who really talked to me like a clinician. She listened to my story. I was dying to share with people my story, where I was, what I thought my default future would be if I didn't do it, all my dreams. She did exactly what I had did for years. And of course, I had no idea that was going to turn into a business. But as a clinician, you're listening with the idea and the intent to understand, right? And you have active listening on your page. You have to do a tremendous amount of active listening to convey there's a mutual understanding of what the person said, right? And if you listen and follow the 80-20 rule, where you're listening 80%, talking 20%, then the sales doesn't feel like this workout, right? You're just like, you're just vibing, you're just hearing the person. And so my personal journey as a weight loss surgery patient kind of like took this, turn of me losing over 100 pounds, but then really basing my sales process off of my journey and what that young lady did for me.
oh wow. Now that's very impactful, because now you've had this really good personal experience with someone in a healthcare setting, and you've seen how it feels to be treated like a human being and like a person. And your journey helped you to turn around and say, wait a minute, if this is how I felt, maybe now I can help other people to deliver the same feeling to others.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that is powerful. That is extremely powerful. I didn't realize we were going to get that today.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get into this real revenue, R.E.A.L, real revenue, and that's your technique. What is real revenue as opposed to like fake revenue? I'm joking, right? But what is real revenue?
There's no fake revenue. That's revenue you're not getting, basically. Because you're putting up these walls to like, no, I don't want to sell. I don't want anybody to be pushy. And that's not what it's all about. Patients are coming to you for a reason. They're looking for you to lead them. So real revenue is what is possible if you can embrace real talk selling. And it really starts with understanding that as a dentist, you are operating a mini sales organization. It is a business. Okay. And if you take that and understand that it's a business and you communicate that to your team, because a lot of dentists, I feel sorry for them. They are alone on an island by themselves. And some of their team members sometimes don't recognize that while they're in the business of helping patients, they still have to keep the lights on, the bills have to be paid, and that's where sales comes in. So with my process with R, the very first thing that you have to do when the patient calls or they're walking through the doors, you have to reassure them. You have to reassure them that they're in the right place. And that's creating what I call a captivating statement. It's a statement that resonates in your heart. And when you say it, it just flows off your tongue to the point that you say it, but you're also mindful of inflection and how you say it. And then the E, which is what that young lady did for me in Oklahoma when I was looking for weight loss surgeries, you establish a kindred connection. You identify one commonality with the patient. It can be anything. And you go off of the topic of dentistry and you go down this road for about 5 minutes. And you just let that person be in their moment. And then the A is assess. You have to assess their needs, but focus on what the patient is hoping for, not necessarily what you think the patient should have done, because a lot of patients do know exactly what they want to do. We sometimes in the industry fail to ask. And then L stands for lead, leading powerfully. So what I tell my clients is, imagine that your patient is standing behind you and that their hand is on your shoulder. And if you go this direction, they're going to go, because they don't know what to do. If you go this direction, they're going to follow you. You're going to lead so powerfully so that by the end of your conversation with the patient, you will not be asking them if they're ready to move forward. They will be asking you what the next step in the process is.
Oh, now that is awesome. So real revenue, reassure the patient with captivating statements, establish a kindred spirit, assess their needs, and then lead powerfully. And I can see where your background in mental health actually helped in developing this, because it is establishing a real connection with people. They're not just a patient. They're not just a number. They're a person with real needs, real wants, real desires. And I can see where that would be effective. You've actually sold me on it, I'm told.
Well, hey, I'm going to try to do that, but okay.
Yeah. So, now look, while we're here, I just have a fun question, right? When was the very first time that you knew that you were good at selling something? Like, what was that moment and you were like, yep, I can sell ice to an Eskimo?
I would say, and I've been in sales for over 20-something years, 25 years. I would say probably in 2006, I made somewhat of a silly decision to go into real estate at that time. And that was when, the economy, everything was tanking. Yeah. And I was working for a builder. And I was like, I said to them, I was in a trainee program. And I said, listen, I'm ready for my own community. They're like, no, Sherrine, you're not. I said, I'm ready. They said, okay, we're going to put you in one of our most difficult communities to sell. There's 6. We'll give you like 120 days. If you can sell these, then we'll promote you to have your own community. So I'll show up to the community and I'm like, oh, Lord, what did I get myself into? And it was like townhouses, and nothing against townhouses, but the floor plan was kind of funky, you know, and I'm like, I can't. These houses have been sitting here for months, inventory sitting there. And I said, you know what? Let me go into the model. I went to the model. It was gorgeous. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take some of the furniture and some of the decorations, and I'm going to, from the model, because that's going to sell anyway. And I'm going to take that furniture and stage all my inventory. Then I took stuff from my house, staged a couple of rooms just to, you know, kind of make it look nice. And then I started doing my reel. I didn't realize I was doing it then. And I sold all 5, it was either 5 or 6 houses in 1 week.
Oh, wow.
And the inventory had been sitting there for, you know, you're talking 6 months. So I knew then that I was able to sell, but, you know, I had to like kind of step back a second and not just sell it as it was. I had to make it better. I had to present it in a way. I had to find out what was wrong, the blind spot. When I figured out the blind spot, I was able to fix it. And that's what I do with my clients, because there's a lot of blind spots that get in the way. So I can't just jump in and start training. Like, we got to figure out some of the nuances that are getting in the way first, then we train.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have a lot of mental blocks when it comes to selling. We're afraid that we're going to sound too pushy, or we're afraid that we won't do it right, or we're afraid that we might mess it up. So I think it's very important, and I'm glad you said that, overcoming those mental blocks, especially for business owners who are looking to partner with other business owners or even to obtain clients. So you guys, we are on show number 211 for Growth Monday. Today, we're here with Sherrine Washington, CEO of R.E.A.L Talk Sales Consulting, and our topic is finding extraordinary partners to fuel success. Sherrine has just talked to us about her real revenue technique, where she helps us find real revenue. She helps us to reassure our clients with captivating statements, establish a kindred connection with them, assess their needs, and lead powerfully. R.E.A.L, the real revenue technique. So now, Sherrine, people who are tuning in are looking for R.E.A.L, and they see me and they're like, this guy looks nothing like R.E.A.L. Why is he here? So while I am not R.E.A.L, and R.E.A.L is on vacation, and by the way, R.E.A.L, when you watch this, I expect a refrigerator magnet or something from vacation.
That's right. That's right.
Sherrine and I both expect the gift back from vacation. But since I am here in R.E.A.L's place, we are still going to continue to do the would you rathers like R.E.A.L does.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, uh-oh. See, you thought that you weren't going to have to do it since R.E.A.L wasn't going to be here, didn't you?
I know. It's all good. No, this is all good and fun. It's all good. So, you know, let's hair down a little bit.
Here's what we're going to do, though, too. We're going to say to anyone listening in the audience, you participate, too, with the would you rather question. I'm curious to see what some of your answers are going to be. So my first would you rather question. Would you rather run a business or a country?
Oh, a business for sure.
All right. Why?
That was too easy. They're both
Why?
hard. They're both hard, but I would definitely run a business. Yes.
Tell us why. Why a business rather than a country?
You know, I'm a pretty private person. A lot of people are surprised to find that, you know. And when you're running a country, if you have to be in front of people and you have to be okay with, you know, being criticized in media, and I couldn't handle that. Again, I'm from Jersey, so we're not going to deal with too many people talking about us, you know? So yeah, run a business. People are going to talk about you no matter what, right? But if it's my business, then I can shut it down a lot easier, I think.
Versus, you couldn't just shut down a whole country, I guess.
Yeah.
That would be hard. People would probably be mad at you.
Yeah, that's right. All
right. So let's do another would you rather. Would you rather never lose your phone again or never lose your keys again?
Oh, uh, lose my phone. Lose my phone. I don't know. That's kind of hard. I would say lose my phone. And I think about family in that situation. You know what I mean? Like if I didn't have my keys, I could, get my husband to do whatever. But I gotta have my phone. I shouldn't say that, but it's true. I can get my husband to do whatever.
Honey, I lost my keys. You go to the store. Yeah.
You go do whatever. That's so true. Yeah, I gotta have my phone. And,
Wait,
and people know me. I mean, I allow dentists to text me all hours of the day, and unless even sometimes when I'm on vacation, I'll respond. But unless I'm in the hospital or something, I will respond. I always have my phone with me. So
I'll tell you, when I saw this question, I thought about it. And now here's where the real tech nerd in me starts to come out, because I'm thinking, of course, I'd never want to lose my phone again, because if I lost my keys, I would simply have a tracker on my keys anyway. So I would have my phone and I would just go to my phone and I would use my tracker to find my keys.
Okay, true. Okay. I wasn't thinking that deep. But, well,
you got a little deeper than me. You were like, well, I'm thinking about my family and my clients and everybody else. I was a little selfish in my answer. I was only thinking about me.
That's true. That's true.
I think you had the deeper answer. All right. So since we're talking about partnerships here, tell me, who was the first person you partnered with in business?
Partnered with in business. So I wouldn't call it, because a lot of people, they think partner, they think like you're sharing, you're splitting money down the middle and things of that nature. And I wouldn't think about it that way. But my father, who's actually a dental patient, he's had a full mouth restoration at a former dental office that I work with. He was, I would say, was really the first person to truly believe in me. He has had an entrepreneurial spirit. I get that from him. And I told him what I wanted to do. And he was there for me, and it's still there for me, not so much financial, but, business advice, guidance. And he's a brilliant person. So my dad would be. Yeah.
Now, I think that is the perfect partner.
Yeah.
You couldn't ask for a better partner, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of setting the bar high. Where do you go from there? My first partner was my dad. Anybody else you need to measure up. So what do you look for in a potential partner?
Well, in dentistry, it's big but small.
Yeah.
And there's several really big key people out there in the industry that I had tried to reach via email and they didn't respond to me, but I had to attach myself to someone who knew them. And then I was able to get introduced around the COVID time. So I mentioned Elijah Desmond, who's very influential in dentistry and puts on a fantastic event. It was Smiles at Sea. It's called the Dental Festival. I owe a lot of my success to him. He also works with another very influential dentist. Her name is Dr. Anissa Holmes. I remember before COVID seeing her on the internet, thinking God, I would love to meet her. I tried to reach out to her and she didn't respond because she's probably getting inundated. And I'm going to be speaking at an event with her this week. There's someone in dentistry. She's part owner of a company called Preview Smile Stimulation. Joanne, I loved their dental product. And I made sure I never, lost contact with her when I stopped working in dentistry. And because I'm such an advocate of her software, Preview, she's almost become kind of a mentor to me, and it's so all these people who I had seen, I want to be like them when I grow up. These are people who I was able to surround myself around, and I'm really grateful for that. And I think it's important that if there are people you want to work with, that you need to be okay in knowing that you may not always get paid to do something. Sometimes you have to be willing to grind a little bit. You might have to be willing to do something you may not necessarily want to do until you get to where you need to get to. And and I was willing to put in the sweat equity for that.
And it's hard to really find someone that you want to partner with. I mean, there's a lot of fear and anxiety and self-doubt that comes up when you initially want to reach out to someone. And you said that you've met some people that have become mentors. So how did you overcome that fear and that self-doubt? Or did you ever have it?
I just COVID really did something for me. Several months before, I was working for a dentist and I was operating R.E.A.L Talk in a part-time capacity. I had no idea COVID was going to happen. And I was faced with, okay, I had to make a decision. I was either going to have to drop R.E.A.L Talk and stay full-time with this dental office, or I was going to be let go. And I made the decision to just say, okay, I'm good. If it's not a good fit, then let me go. And COVID hit and I went with it. And it propelled me. I had no choice. So all the fears or, self-defeating thoughts, everything that was going on in my mind, it was like an outer body experience. I don't even know how I did half of what I did in 2020. So I created an online course for treatment coordinators, and then created a dental CRM with an engineer, and, got clients. And I mean, it was amazing for me. And so the fear was there. I had no time to be fearful or afraid. I just had to do it.
I was just thinking that as you said it, you didn't have the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like the fear was removed because you had to take a leap of faith, because now it's, what are we going to do? But you know what? Here's the burning question I bet people are wanting to ask you, just based on something you said earlier. And so I'm going to go ahead and ask it, because I know people are thinking it right now. What in the world is a dental festival like?
Oh my goodness. So there was one in April that I spoke at, a dental festival. Oh my God. So the next one is in October, and it is a continuing education event, but on steroids, because it is not stuffy training. Before COVID, the dental festival was called Smiles at Sea. So it was, a cruise ship. So dental professionals would board this amazing boat. There would be entertainment. So just imagine everything that happens on a ship, plus continuing education and fun contests, educational opportunities where you could be yourself. So it really puts fun in what would normally be probably a pretty daunting, boring learning process. And so they also had to pivot because, cruises were no more for quite some time. They're still trying to bounce back. And so instead of it being Smiles at Sea, it became the Dental Festival. And Elijah gave me an opportunity to speak at this event, something I would have never fathomed that I would have ever been a part of. And so basically it's a cruise ship on land. And so you get all your continuing education, and you can invite your team. It's just not dentists. And the idea is that you have a vacation plus continuing education all in one. It's amazing. And the connections and the people that I met, synergy, talk about synergy. It was unbelievable.
And I got to say, this just blows me away, because I did not expect to hear about Smiles at Sea and dentists on a cruise ship having training. That's actually
and dancing. They're dancing too. They're letting loose, and they don't care. Nobody's caring that somebody doesn't, that you might be stiff. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying no one cares about that, right? You're just like, day to day is stressful. So why not let my hair down?
Yeah. At some points in time, you have to. And what better way to get training than on a cruise ship?
Yeah.
That's just, where's the most exciting place you guys have gone on the cruise ship for the training?
Well, I never made it to the cruise. I did the land events.
Oh.
Yeah, because that was like right before I was scheduled to be on the boat, and then they had to pivot, as we all had to, and do it on land. But the event that took place in April, which is where I spoke as a part of a contest called Dentistry's Got Talent, which also was life-changing, was
wait. Dentistry's Got Talent. Is that like America's Got Talent? Okay, wait.
It's a twist on it.
Yeah, dentists are a whole lot more fun than I've anticipated. Okay, so talk to us about Dentistry's Got Talent.
Well, you applied to be a part of this, and it's a 10-minute TED Talk. You choose the topic, of course, dental related, and you compete for the really big prize, 50 contestants, and then they kind of chunk it down to like the top 10, and then from the 10, they chunk it down to the 1. So I made it to one of the final contestants, and it was probably one of the best moments in my life, because when you want to talk about a 10-minute speech, that was the most difficult thing I'd ever. It was awesome, and I think the energy, when we talk about partnerships, we talk about collaborating, the support of the people before they got on stage, after they got on stage, win or lose, it didn't matter. Because we were there to pump each other up. We were there to hear each other speak about a very passionate topic related to dentistry that many of us hold near and dear to our hearts. And then the friendships that came out of it, this wasn't supposed to be about Dentistry's Got Talent or the Dental Festival, but you can see my passion. It's a community that's needed in the industry, in the dental industry.
Yeah, I've got to say that is a complete surprise.
Yeah, it's for dentistry, but like my husband's a teacher. He's going back with me in October. Like, he's not going to miss that. It's because it literally feels like a vacation. So, if you want to somehow tap into the dental industry or have speaking again about synergy and collaborations, if you have a business that is somehow linked or intertwined to kind of trickle into dentistry, you can go.
I got to tell you, when you first said it, the first thing I thought about was like dentists on stage doing root canals and seeing who could do one causing pain to the patient without Novocaine or whatever. But no, seriously.
Yeah, it's not to say somebody may not have that as a spoof, because you are having fun. But I think the best way to think about it is it's a convention, but just not your typical convention with continuing ed added on top. Yeah,
no doubt that I'm just totally in shock right now. So you guys, we are on episode number 211 on Growth Monday. I'm here with Sherrine Washington. I am Robert Berry. Rollis is on vacation somewhere, looking for a gift to bring back to Sherrine and I, something real nice for us. And our topic.
You didn't say best-selling author. I was waiting for you to introduce yourself and to say that. Yes, you looked me up, but I looked you up too.
So,
have you been a host and the guest starts asking questions?
Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. Can you share
with everyone about your book? Because I'm going to get it.
You should get it.
Perform.
Yes. So the name of my book is Ask Better Questions, Get Better Answers, Perform Better Audits. And really, it's about the art of asking questions, and kind of while auditing, because I spent my career as an auditor, but anybody could read it and pull away a lot of different things, because we all have to know how to ask really good questions if we want to get better answers so that we can improve the quality of our life. As a matter of fact, I say your life is directly contingent upon the quality of questions that you ask. But yeah, I think that is very much so true. You ask yourself bad questions, you get bad answers, you make bad decisions. You ask yourself good questions, you get good answers, and you make more informed decisions.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So
I hope my treatment coordinators are listening to this.
Oh boy, you should buy a copy of my book for each.
No, I'm going to get it. When I realized that you were hosting, I went to look and I said, oh my goodness, because the very first thing, you had a video about active listening. But people don't. This is another challenge sometimes in dentistry, because we're in such a rush. And that level of intensity and being in a rush prevents you from slowing down to ask insightful questions to get the answers that you need. So I'm all about, you got to ask the right questions, and you have to stop, sometimes to think about what that question is, as opposed to like feeling like you got to, it's not always about that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and in talking about forming good partnerships, when you are looking to form partnerships with people, you have to ask them a lot of questions to make sure that you're in alignment, that you have some of the same strategic goals and objectives, the same morals and values. Now, that's a real important piece, because you can't align with someone and have a partnership with someone that doesn't align with your core morals, values, and ethics.
Well, and absolutely. And to follow up on that, I think it's important to be able to know when it's not a good fit for now, and to be able to say that. I had to say that to someone months ago. They found me on LinkedIn or something, and it just didn't feel right. So, again, the old Sherrine would feel bad, would entertain it. And it's like, no, their time is valuable. My time is valuable. If there's a disconnect and it feels disjointed, I mean, it's okay to just say it's a no for now.
So now you help dentists find real revenue. And I know most of us...
Well, not necessarily. Okay. It's not real revenue. Yes, certainly they'll get that. But in the world of dentistry, it's the ability to what we call close cases, right? To move patients forward so they feel empowered to say yes. I take the work out of all of that. And then in return, when you close the case, then you will drive revenue. You will drive revenue as well as a result of that.
So you could have chosen any field to exercise your sales muscle, because I see you're a sales master. And that's always scary, because you wonder what they're going to sell you today. But why did you choose dentistry as the area to concentrate and focus on for your sales mastery?
I was really successful selling real estate, but it didn't really speak to me. And I worked for one of the largest dental implant providers called Clear Choice. It's a national organization. I was there for 6 years, and they, while my sales methodology is different, they offered tremendous training and really helped me to be who I am today, because that was where I really became a consultative sales professional. I had to do what I did with patients there in a way that resonated with me. It was different. And they knew that I was doing it differently, but I was successful. So, you don't put up much of a fuss about it. But it's, for me, dentistry is changing lives. My father had a full mouth restoration. It changed his life. I've worked with hundreds of patients and helped them change their life. It is the one field that I wish that people really truly valued as much as they value going to a primary care. So for me, I feel like it's almost like a movement for me to help dentists embrace sales. Like before I die, I hope that there is a mark of real talk in the industry so that people don't have to be afraid of it. They're okay to talk about it. They're okay to run their businesses the way that they should run their businesses, not have their team dictate what it is they're going to do and what they're not going to do. I believe in it.
Why do you think it's undervalued? What's behind that?
Well, I think the industry is a part to blame. I mean, that might be a little bit harsh, but I think this is where real talk selling comes in. I think that because there is a fear of the word sales and being pushy, that how treatment is presented is not always presented in a way to educate the patient, to let them know if they don't do it, what can happen. We're afraid to say, Mary, you need 4 crowns. Your teeth are, they're in trouble. You've got one that's infected. And if you don't take care of this infection can spread. It can affect this tooth. Before you know it, you're going to be missing 5 teeth. We need to take care of this today because your health is important. The next step, we can't do that. We struggle with that in the industry. And we hide behind dental insurance, I believe. And instead of helping people find the means to do this, if insurance isn't covered, we don't go a step further to help patients figure out a way to get it done. We shouldn't let the insurance be the barrier to helping patients holistically take care of themselves.
Okay. So you're saying that if there are items that insurance does not cover, there are alternative ways for patients to get the coverage that they need.
Sure. Yeah. It takes time to do that. I mean, there's financing, right? You can liquidate personal accounts. You can start saving towards it over time. But again, because as in some cases, the industry, we're in a rush sometimes, and we allow a patient, instead of saying, hey, great cleaning today, let's go ahead and schedule your next 6 months. Sometimes we'll say, well, do you want to go ahead and schedule the 6? Why are we asking? Why are we asking if they want to? Let's go ahead. That's why my dentist, they don't let me off the hook. They're done with my cleaning. Hey, great, Sherrine, good job. Let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and schedule your next. It is March the 10th work for you? It's like little things. I think we let patients off the hook too much.
Yeah, and sometimes insurance is just easy, right? It's the easy way out.
It is, but if you're going to your primary care and your insurance doesn't cover it, you're going to part of your body, any other organ. You're not going to say, what? The kidney, my insurance is going to give me $1,000. Well, I guess I'm just not going to get my kidney. No, you're going to figure out a way.
That's true. That's a very good point.
And your mouth is the gateway to the rest of your body. So, it affects your body systemically. So why do we not put forth the effort to educate our patients about the importance of taking care of their mouth like we would any other part of their body?
Yeah. What's really unique about your story? Well, I don't know if it's unique, but it's very captivating about it is you're in a business where you're helping people to help other people, but you got into it because you had something affect you personally, and that personal effect that it had on you fueled your passion to help others.
Yes, perfectly said. Perfectly said.
I find that though, when that happens to people, those are the best people to, bringing it back to fueling partnerships, those are the best people to partner with, because they're extremely passionate about what it is that they're doing. And that they're going to give it their all, because they're not in it just for the money. Everybody's in business to make money. So let's not make any mistake with that. But when you're in it to make money and also help people because you realize that you can make an impact on the world, those are the best people to partner with. So what I'll say is, if you are in the dental industry and you're looking for someone to partner with, especially someone who can give you real talk sales consulting, Sherrine is the person that you should look to. We are on show number 211, Growth Monday. Today, we're talking about finding extraordinary partners to fuel success. We've just heard Sherrine's story about how in a doctor's office, she was made to feel like a human. She had a real connection. And then also helping her father navigate a few health issues helped her to want to really help others in the healthcare and the medical profession. Specifically,
can I add something to that? To that? My interaction was actually over the phone. Person, it was actually not in an office. I started calling around to different bariatric offices, and it was like, thank you for calling, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, hi, yes, my name is Sherrine. I'm thinking about having weight loss surgery. Well, you got to come in for a consult. You got to meet with the doctor, no one thought to ask me anything. It was like, it was based off of their agenda. I had to go do what they told me to do. And then
they were able to meet you immediately where you were emotionally.
That person 1,000 miles away, yes. And all she did, she asked me one question, and she had me. She asked me my name.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. With that person, have you ever reached out to contact her to tell her the impact she's had on you?
I cannot find her. I have tried to find this person. I've called the office. She's no longer an employee. When I spoke at Dentistry's Got Talent, I thought, well, maybe she'd be watching this. I've not been able to find her. And to me, that I mean, I couldn't imagine if I saw her today or to talk to her today. I don't know. She may not even remember me.
You know what?
She may not even remember me.
You know what, though? We're streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Do you know her name?
I know her first name. Her name is
Ah.
Sherrine. The office was Waitwise in Oklahoma. But they don't even know where she is. But, I say she doesn't remember me, but you never know if she's watching this or, it was in Edmonton, Oklahoma, Waitwise Bariatric Center. And I had surgery in 2008. So, you never know how the universe works, right? I think she'd be pretty shocked to know, well, for one, that I lost the weight, but now I have a business because of her.
Right. I mean, we're all connected. It's the whole ripple effect that happens in the world. So anyone who's listening who may have any inkling, any clue as to where she might be, spread the word. Better yet, pass this video along to some of your friends.
Awesome. Yeah.
Ra, let's make a snippet of this piece and let's pass this along to see if we can reconnect these two people, because we're talking about partnerships today anyway.
Yes, we are. How perfect is that? How perfect is that? Yeah.
Yeah. That is powerful. I wasn't expecting that. So now, as we're coming closer to our time, we're not there yet. I want to do another Would You Rather.
Okay.
So this time, would you rather lose all your money and valuables or all the pictures you've ever taken?
The pictures I've ever taken. Yes, sorry. Yeah. I'm just being honest. Yeah. You know what it is too. I mean, how many of us have a million pictures on their phone that will never ever print, will never, like, the value of picture taking is like down the drains now. So as much as I love my husband and our wedding pictures and our kids, I would rather lose those photos than all of my fortune. I wouldn't do that. And not that I have fortune, but I'm just saying I wouldn't want to start from scratch.
Not that you have a fortune yet.
Yet. That's right.
And honestly, when I found that question, I started thinking to myself, how would I answer that? Because, and I think you've given a good answer, because those memories are still up here.
They are.
You still have them.
Well, and you think about the people that, God forbid they have a fire, they literally are starting from scratch. Like, unfortunately, those things happen. And you don't know what's going to happen. You lose everything anyway. So you literally have to start over and building memories from where you are at that moment.
Well, and I was thinking those pictures aren't going to keep me warm at night, right? I can't.
That too. Yeah.
I can't snuggle up with a photo.
I could easily answer that question for you. You see, I didn't hesitate. So,
Not at all. Not even a millisecond. Oh my, that was actually kind of funny, because I was expecting a different answer, but I think you answered the way that I would have answered too. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I would have answered the same.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's do another Would You Rather. Would you rather be in debt for $100,000? I see you thinking on that one like, no, just right off the bat, no. Would you?
I mean, I can't think of anything worse than that, but okay.
Right. Would you rather be in debt for $100,000 or never be able to make more than $6,500 per month?
Oh, that's interesting. I would rather be in debt with 100,000.
Ooh, now tell me why.
Well, I mean, I'm in sales. It's one of the reasons why I love the industry. It is one of the few industries that, as long as you believe in what you're selling, you get to change a person's life, but there's no limit to how much money you can make, right? It's all what you put into it. There's no cap. And so I would not thrive in an environment where somebody's like, this is all you can make. For me, I want to be able to dictate. If I want to make less than $6,500 that month because I'm good for the month before, I want to be able to dictate that. I wouldn't want any constraints on that. And I could pay off the debt.
I have to tell you that was my answer too. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's no limit to how much I can make. So I could
Mhm.
easily pay off the debt if I work my butt off and
That's
build
right.
an empire.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
And I think that question goes to how much do you believe in yourself? And not everybody truly believes in their ability to form good partnerships and to be able to sell and to be able to bring in money. So I'm curious, what would anyone in the audience think about this one? Would you rather be in debt for $100,000 or never be able to make more than $6,500 per year? I think that's an
Per
interesting
year or per
question.
month?
I mean, I'm sorry, per month. Sorry.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, that would have
Per
been.
year, that's very easy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very easy. But yeah, $6,500 per month. Um, yeah, I think if you believe in yourself and then you understand the power of partnerships because you can't do this all alone, because dream work makes the team work, you can easily accelerate your business and your growth. So you've told us that during the pandemic, you kind of started, you had this revelation to where you realized you didn't have to be alone and you're not alone. So, what are some of the transformations that you've seen in your business since you've started to form these great partnerships and since you've grown?
Yeah. Well, I think, I've talked a lot about mentors or people in the business, but one of the biggest pieces of advice I could give, the best piece of advice I can give to someone is to hire a coach. I've had the same coach for many years. And I mean, when I look at the next year, I'm budgeting for my work with Margie. Without her, I wouldn't be where I am. And every month it comes out of my account without fail. I don't complain about it when I have to pay it because when I need her, she's there. With her. And she helps to really propel me. So if there are days that I don't believe in myself, and entrepreneurs have that, that happens. You have someone who is there to pump you up to tell you you can do this. And I just it's like when I call her, if I have a challenge or an issue that I'm struggling with, when the call is done, it's fixed. I'm able to move on. I have a better plan of action. You can't put a dollar amount on that type of help. So it's an investment in my business. You got to find you got to find the coach that works for you. I always tell people that, it may take you interviewing several coaches until you find the right person, but it's essential. That's a
Yeah,
collaboration.
absolutely.
That's a partnership. Yeah.
Yeah, your coaches are your mentors, they're your accountability partners, they're helpers when you need it, they're that sounding board, and they are the quintessential extraordinary partner to help you fuel success.
Yeah. Well, and many of them are entrepreneurs, right? So, my coach has been an entrepreneur for a lot longer than I have. So that knowledge and that wisdom and the mistakes that she made, and it's like you get so much more than just advice to deal with a particular issue. You have someone that's kind of like preventing you from doing this that could have cost you a lot more money than what you're actually paying to get the service, and that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, and I found a lot of coaches are also good referral sources because they have contacts. They've been there, done that. If you need to figure out where to find a good accountant, your coach may know one. You need a good IT person, your coach may know one. And it is like you're building a mini community of these various partners that can help you with different elements of your business to put it all together, especially for solopreneurs. You're a business of one, and how do you survive without talking to or collaborating with or getting to know other folks and what has driven them to success?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Get a good coach. Get a good coach. Don't be afraid to spend the money on a coach.
Yeah, for years I was afraid to, and the pandemic again, like you said, the pandemic has changed a lot of us, oddly enough, for the better. And I find it odd that an event so tragic could actually help heal certain parts of the world. I mean, obviously, we still have a lot of work to do, but I think there's a lot of good that came out of this bad situation, and it's still coming out of this bad situation. I find it to be fascinating that when I talk to people like you and others, when we talk about the pandemic, many of them, the first thing they lead with is the positive thing that has been impacted. So it shows
right.
that, yeah, it shows that we're still mostly an optimistic group of people. We haven't lost faith in humanity yet, right?
That's very true. You're right. That is, most people do lead with the positive. You know, even if they lost a family member or something like that, is like, we don't talk about that right away. We are talking about the positive that came from it. And like you said, is coming from it.
Yeah, and a part of that is getting yourself in the right mindset to deal with life. So you guys, we are on show number 211, Growth Monday. Our topic is finding extraordinary partners to fuel success. Our guest has been Sherrine Washington. And no, I am not Rollins, but hopefully you had just as much fun with me as you do with Rollins. He's on vacation and he's buying all of us gifts so that when he comes back, he will give all of us gifts.
I feel sorry. Where is he? Where did he go?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think he may have told me and I may have forgotten. I don't know.
Wherever you went, he's got to come back with a bag full of souvenirs because you're putting it out there. So
yeah, he may have kept it a secret from us so that we wouldn't make requests.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
Rollins is never going to invite me to guest host.
Yes, exactly. Again. That's right. I was looking at Joanne's response. It's awesome.
He'll never ask me to come back. Never, ever, ever again. So, all right. Again, you guys, Growth Monday. It happens every Monday. We have extraordinary guests here. Sherrine has been the perfect guest. Sherrine, tell everyone, if they want to contact you, first, what can you do for them and how can we reach you?
Yeah. So I work with level up sales professionals. So if there's anyone watching or listening to this, and you are at a place in your career as a consultative sales professional that you want to level up your skill set to be able to close whatever it is you're selling, whether it's dental, you want to learn how to level up your skill, I'm your girl. If you're a dental practice or an elective medical practice that sells something that is not 100% necessary for the patient, it's not medically necessary, and you would love to implement a repeatable sales process, I'm your girl. You can go right to my website, which is realtalkselling.com, www.realtalkselling.com. And that's it.
Well, thank you very much for being such a wonderful guest.
Well, thank you for having me and being a wonderful host.
We'll do it again next week. Oh, no, we won't. Rollins will be back next
He'll be back. Oh, I don't know. You're setting him up. He may not want to come back now with all these gifts.
Nah, but you guys listening, thank you for being a wonderful audience, and look for Rollins back next week. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.